Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game all about making species of fish and keeping them fed called Oceans. Oceans is a 2 to 4 player game where players are trying to come up with new species of fish or maybe discovering new species of fish. Then you're trying to grow that population by maybe either foraging in the reef for other fish or attacking either your own species or your opponents. Essentially what that boils down to is you're going to have these cards that are traits, which look something like this. They're going to give your species personality, actions, things you can do, attack power, forage power, defense power. And then you're going to use that species to get as much food as you can, because your species every turn is going to age. And based on how far along in the game, it could age with 1 fish or 2 fish. So you want to make sure you at least have enough fish on your board to feed that aging, which basically means you're taking a fish, putting it behind your player screen to score some points. That's enough talking about it. Let's go down to the table, see how it plays. All right, so here's a game of Oceans, all set up for 2 players. Let me go over setup kind of quickly, and then we'll go ahead and play through a few rounds. So to set up, you're going to determine the number of players. So in this case, 2. That's going to determine how many fish we're using. So we're going to use these clownfish. There are 100 of these. You're going to divide them up into equal piles, kind of, and put some in each of the 4 compartments here. This is the reef. That's the ocean depths. Then you're going to flip the top card of the surface deck, and it's going to be a number at the bottom here, which is 11. And you're going to take that many from here and the first section of the ocean and put it into the 3rd section, which is why the 3rd section has more. Then you're going to give each player 6 cards, which I've already done. Going to determine first player. They're going to get this 4-point token in a 2-player game. It's different in more. You're going to put scenarios out, which in this case we have an event which will happen when this is empty. And we'll have this one, which is going to give all species 2 extra defense. That's what that 2 in that circle means. Then you're going to put the species boards here, and you're going to have some reserve fish that you may need at the end of the game. And over there, that's the deep cards, deep water cards. You're going to shuffle them all. They're all different, and you're going to flip 2. Then we're going to go ahead and get rolling. So on your turn, you're going to do 4 things. You're going to play a card for either migrating fish or to bring out a new species. You're going to feed your fish by either attacking another species or foraging in the reef. Then you're going to age, which means before a certain card in here comes out, we're going to get rid of 1 fish on our board. And then we're going to discard and draw cards back up to 6. That's it. All right, let's go. So this player's first. Here's what we're going to kind of do. Oh, and we also have these player screens that you kind of put like this to keep your stuff secret, but it's going to look ridiculous on the camera, so I'm just leaving it off. All right, so the artwork, first before we get started, the artwork in this game is gorgeous. So look at some of this. It's normal evolution style artwork. Really bright colors, really cool pictures. And yeah, so in this deck, there are 12 different cards. There's 10 of each cards. In that deck, every card is different, but that's going to be triggered in the second half of the game once this section of the ocean is empty. All right, so what I want to do is I want to bring out a species, because without a species, I pretty much can't do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to bring out this guy. I'm going to bring out a tentacle. The reason I'm going to bring him out is because he's going to let me feed twice. So I'll bring him out, or her out, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Slide that over here. Next to your species board, you can have 3 different traits. These are traits, unless a card says otherwise. Some of them are going to let you have extra. You may be able to have 4, 5, 6, whatever. But right now, I can have 3. So now, I played a card. I can play 1 card. Now I can either attack, which I can't do, or I can forage. The number that you're allowed to forage, if you look at this sample card, would be in the green. The number you can attack is in the red. If you don't have either of those numbers, your default number is 1. So in this case, I can forage for 1, but I can feed twice, so I can forage for 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on top of my board and go here. If you ever get down here into the bonefish, you hit overpopulation unless you have certain types of fish, and then you have to discard all your fish down to 5. They can either go here or into an ocean section, and I mean, that's essentially the punishment. It's not awful. All right. So then I played a card. I did my feeding. Now what I'm going to do is I have to age. So in the first half of the game, until this box is empty, we age at 1. So what that means is I take a fish from my board and I put it in my scoring section. It'll be behind my board like that. That's essentially 1 point. So right now I have 5 points. Then what I can do is I can either draw 1 depth card, or deep water card. I can always do that. And I can discard some of the cards in my hand and draw back up to 6 from this deck. But I don't want any deep cards yet because you can't discard those, so I'm going to hold off on those for a little bit. But what I am going to do is I'm going to discard this. This is going to give me 4 defense, and I don't really need 4 defense because I already have a built-in 2. So I'm going to risk it, and then I'm going to draw back up to 6 from this deck. And that's my turn. Then we're going to go to this player. And then we do it all over again. So they want to bring out a species as well. They're going to be a little meaner. They actually want to attack. So they're going to bring out... Do they have anybody that attacks? No, but they only have 5 cards. Whoops. Good job. Way to count. So they're going to bring out this guy. This is going to give them 2 forage or 2 attack. And 2 defense, so technically 4. And it's going to let them have 4 traits instead of 3. So they're going to bring this card out for a new species. And then what they're going to do is they want to attack me, but they're going to get more fish if they forage. So they're going to go ahead and forage because they're going to get 2. So they're going to take 2, get 2 fish, put them on the board like this. And then they have to age, so they'll take 1, age it. They'll have 1 point. Then they get to do the card thing as well. And they have 2 of the same cards. So they're going to go ahead and discard 1 of them because I don't really want to have multiples of the same this early on. And then they'll draw back up to 6. So that will give them 2 cards. And that's their turn. All right, back to this player. Let's see. They're going to bring in another species, actually. And I think. So let's see here. No, I'll just bump this one up a little bit. So let's see. I will. Yeah, I'll bring out a new one. So I'm going to bring out a new species. So I'm going to put it to the left of this one, or the right of this one. This is a transparent species. May not be leached or attacked if there's population in the reef. So as long as there's fish in here, this species cannot be attacked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed with this one because I don't want it to go extinct right now. So I get a forage for 1 because it has a value of 1. Then, because now we're into aging, I have to age them all, so I lose 1. Had I had to age 2, they would go extinct, but they didn't right now, so I'm good. That is my turn. I can do stuff with cards. I have 2 of these, so I'll discard 1 of them, and I'll draw back up to 6. All right, then it's back to this player's turn. They're actually going to just keep their 1 for right now, and what they want to do is they want to play this. So they're going to play a filter feeder. Never overpopulates. They can no longer attack, but it has 5 forage. So they're going to go ahead and play that. So now what they're going to do is they're going to add all their greens together, and that gives them 7. So they're going to be able to take 7 fish from the reef, which is pretty nice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, then they'll put them on their board. I'll try to put them kind of nice, but I don't really care that much. So we'll just get them on there. So they're going to have a bunch of fish. All right, and that's that. Then they're going to age. So they're going to age this one, put it in the scoring pile. Then they can do their card thing. So what they want to do is they don't have any duplicate cards, so they're just going to draw at the top. So that'll give them 6 cards. All right, then back to this player. So what I want to do, there's only 2 fish in the reef, I think. Yep, 2 fish in the reef. So what I want to do is I want to migrate some fish over into the reef. So let's do that by doing this card. So instead of playing a card to my species, I'm going to play one here for the number at the bottom. So I'm going to move 10 fish from one of these sections over here in the ocean to the reef. So I'll discard this card and I'm going to take them from this. They all have to come from one box. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, then I'll put the rest of them back in where they came from. All right, then I get to feed one. Oh man, this one's gonna go extinct. One of them is gonna go extinct already, but I'm gonna feed this one because I can take 2 here. Then I have to age them all. So this one's gonna age. I can't age it, so it goes extinct. So what that means is the board goes away, the card gets discarded. Now I just have less species to feed and take care of. Then I can do the card thing. I have no duplicates, so I'll just draw a card. All right, and that was my turn. Back to this player. They don't need to migrate because I just migrated a lot for them. They have a lot of fish going on in this one, so they want to start a new species. So let's see what they can do here. They're going to start doing an attacking species. So let's do this. They're going to play the apex predator. So 3 attack, they can no longer forage, and it has 4 defense. So I'm going to slide this over this way, and I'm going to put it right here. So they're bringing out a new species. The species cannot forage, it has to attack. So they're going to actually feed with this one. So they're going to attack and steal this fish from me. They only get 1. Then they're going to age. So they'll age this one, they'll age this one. Then they can get some cards. Just drawing off the top. All right, back to this player. Let's see here. This will probably be the last round, then I'll go over some of the deep water stuff and some things that happen. Let's see, I want to start another species too. No, I can't start a species. I need to grow this one because I'm struggling here. So let's see. I want to do this. I want to play this one. Same thing they played. I'm going to play it on this guy. It's going to be an attack of 3 and it has a defense of 4. So technically I can't even attack, so I'm not going to do that. That's silly because they have a defense of 4 and I wouldn't get anything. Oh, this is rough. This is rough. This is rough. Oh man, this is, I'm not doing a very good job. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'll put a whale cleaner on it. After a species with 3 or more forages, 3 or more forage power of forages, gain 3 if the closest whale cleaner, if this is the closest whale cleaner on either side. So I'm playing this guy. Doesn't really help me now, but that's really the only card I could play. So I'm gonna take this, I'll age it, it goes there. Then my cards are kind of stinky, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard all 5, and then I'm going to draw 6 new ones because it was not going well. I was not getting anything that worked. Yeah, that'll help. So now I have this guy. At least I'll be able to forage for a pile of food. It's the same card they have over there. All right, so this will be the last turn, and then I'll go through some stuff that happens for the second half of the game. So what this player is going to do, they have 7 forage and 3 attack. Let's see. They're going to do this. No, that's silly. Yeah, they'll do this. They'll go ahead and put this card on here. All right, so basically I'm in trouble here. So I can attack for 3. There's no fish on here. So this is going to go extinct this turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and forage over here for 7. I can only hold 4, so I'll take 4 fish. And then one's going to age. This one's going to die. Go extinct because I couldn't age. And then I just draw another card. All right. So after you go through all this, basically you're going to keep going until this, we'll say this is empty. Then I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to get this card out. There's a card in here. if I can get all these fish out. All right, so when this is empty, this card comes out. It's called the Cambrian Explosion. So when this comes out, you can play 2 cards instead of 1. You have to age 2 instead of 1, and you can play the deep cards. So you can't even play those cards until this card comes out. So this card will come out, then it's going to basically speed up the game. So from this point on, we're going to be playing same as we've been doing, but we're going to age twice, play 2 cards. When all of these boxes are empty, so the reef is empty, all of the, and when this is empty, this would also fire because it's an action that triggers when that section is empty. So species double their population take from any ocean zone. So like over there, like this guy, if he had 1, he would get another one, and he could take it from any ocean zone. That happens 1 time when that box is empty. Then to trigger the end of the game, all the reef and all the ocean boxes have to be empty. If there's still a player left in the round, you would bring in the reserve. They would get dumped into the 3rd section, and that would fill in for any fish needs that you might need. And then the way the game ends, when the game is over, you're going to add up your points. Your points are fish that you've collected, which would be these guys, tokens, plus any fish that are on your board. So right now, if the game ended, this would be a super low score. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 points. And they would have a whole pile because they have a big bunch of fish on their species board. And that is how you play Oceans. So let's go to the top, see what we think about it. All right, so that was Oceans. First thing I want to talk about is the art. I'm not going to talk about what I think about the game yet. I just want to talk about the art. So there are 2 decks of cards that you're going to be playing with a lot. And they are the deep water cards, which have that on the back. And there are surface cards, which have that on the back. Brighter cards, because they're up closer to the top. The thing here is, the deep water cards, every single card is different. So let's look at some of this art. In normal evolution style, this art is excellent. Bang up, amazing pictures. These are a lot darker because they're the deep water fish and they're down farther away from the surface. So they just have a little more going on. Then you can look at some of these bright, colorful surface fish, which I showed you in the overview a little bit. But here they go again. Like, look at that. They're so bright and colorful. It's amazing. Like, here's a little cool zebra shark or something. And there's these weird shark teeth. Just awesome art. Like, I can't say enough about the art. Another thing I really like about the game are these cute little fish. There's 4 different colors of fish, maybe 5 depending on if you're using the 5 or 6 player. But I like the clownfish. It's so cute. It's so cute. That's really nice. So yeah, the art is bang up. The components are really cool too. Like this box. I don't know if you can see this as well, but this is a box that has 3 different sections that you can put fish in, which is just awesome. And it's got a little shelf for 2 cards. It's super cool. You have to build it, but it's really sturdy cardboard. It's awesome. So art and component, amazing. All right, now let's talk about the game. So this is essentially evolution, but with fish. So I didn't really like evolution that much. I thought it was too simple and just didn't have a lot going on. But this one adds some stuff that I really think makes the game a lot better. And that is the migration, where you have to move the fish from a part of the deep sea into the reef box, or you can move them from the reef box to the deep sea, whatever you want, and throwing this in. So this card right here, which speeds up, comes out basically when that first box is empty, and it's going to start speeding up the game because you're going to be able to play 2 cards instead of 1. You're going to age your fish at 2 instead of 1. So what that's going to do is it's going to get rid of more fish, get more fish behind people's player boards, because the game ends when all the fish in the reef and the sea are gone. So I really like that. I think that was an improvement over the original game, plus the addition of those deep water cards that you can't play until the second half. So you're trying to balance, like, do I need to take a deep water card because that one that's out there is really amazing, but I'm going to be stuck with it until I can get that first section of the deep sea empty, and we can start playing those cards. So it's kind of a balance of, yeah, I can just keep using these 12 surface level cards, but they're not as good as the other ones. And another thing about these cards, if you look on the bottom here, in the migration corner right here, when you play these cards, you have to pay a fish from behind your player board, so one of your points, or however many that cost is, you're going to have to spin that many fish either into the reef or into a section of the ocean to put that card out. These cards are awesome, so they're going to be worth paying. But that's another thing is, do you ever even want to play deep sea fish or deep water cards? Because they're going to take your points away. So that's another thing just to juggle in the back of your mind while you're playing this game. So yeah, the rule book is awesome. It's got these sweet player aid books. Tells you turn order here. Gives you an overview of all the surface cards. Gives you a little thing you can do here to come up with some genius. And then it has symbols on the back. There's enough of these for every player. It's amazing. There's some promos in the box for both these little cards and I think some of the deep water cards. These little tokens here that you can shell out for based on player order to give some extra points. Awesome. Everything about this game is awesome. I can't say enough about it. The thing I like the most, that I even liked the most about Evolution, was the artwork. The artwork's fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and give this game a BGM accepted seal. It's a 7 out of 10 for me, so a 3.5 out of 5 wrenches. I'm going to keep it in my collection. It's probably not one I'm going to play a ton because it's fairly light, but if I have some friends or people over that don't play a ton of games, I would definitely bring it out because the artwork and the components and just the theme is friendly, and it's going to help attract those people and make them want to play games. So yeah, that was my review of Oceans. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.